Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, January 22. Jamaica and the United States of America have recommitted to continued partnership in the areas of energy, security, trade, and investments. These were part of bilateral discussions held this morning between Prime Minister Andrew Holness and U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Mr. Pompeo arrived on the island Tuesday night for a two-day working visit, which includes roundtable discussions with Caribbean officials. In a press conference this morning, Prime Minister Holness said the U.S. was a reliable and long-standing partner, adding that the cooperation would advance Jamaica's opportunity for economic growth.
I'm pleased to say that we found common understanding on the urgent need to scale up our security cooperation. The main focus will be on bolstering Jamaica's capacity to counter transnational organized crime, secure our borders and ports, and interrupt the flow of illicit weapons into our country.
Meanwhile, Secretary of State Pompeo said the U.S. was always ready to assist with challenges being faced by Caribbean countries.
The United States has supported Caribbean nations with more than $600 million in much-needed funding for this fight over this past decade. Our expectation is those funds will augment homegrown efforts to protect all Caribbean peoples.
Recommendations for a new council to helm the Caribbean Maritime University will go before Cabinet on the 27th of January. Minister with Oversight for Education Carl Samuda made the disclosure during yesterday's sitting of the House of Representatives. The announcement follows the resignation of the former council members, which came on the heels of public reporting into an Auditor General's report on corruption allegations at the university. Minister Samuda says once Cabinet has approved the new council members, the body will hold its meeting the following week.
It is the intention of the Prime Minister to make a full statement on Friday outlining the government's strategy in relation to the future direction of the CMU. That is January the 24th.
In the meantime, Mr. Samuda says the Caribbean Maritime University is being managed smoothly. He asserts that, contrary to media reports, the institution is not facing any challenges in its day-to-day operations. Mr. Samuda assured parliamentarians on Tuesday that the Education Ministry had been closely monitoring CMU for the past 10 months. As a result, he says governance management has been strengthened.
A recent review indicated that since the introduction of these new systems, the university has been acting in compliance with the regulating guidelines. There have been significant improvements in the procurement activities, human resource practices, and the general administration of the university.
In other news, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says his administration will continue to dedicate a large portion of the country's budget to infrastructure development. This, he says, will be channeled through the Greater Infrastructure Development Project, GIDP. It's the successor agreement to two infrastructure projects financed by the Chinese government. Mr. Holness says those projects allow the country to expand its revenue capacity while reducing its debt to GDP ratio. According to the Prime Minister, the Greater Infrastructure Development Project will be looking to increase connectivity around the island. It involves expanding the north-south and east-west highways, as well as creating a new link between Kingston and Portland through St. Mary.
We're going to be building bypasses, extending our highways, widening other roads. So effectively what will happen is that you will have ease of travel in Jamaica.
The Prime Minister was engaged in a Caribbean Leaders Panel discussion on sustainability, resilience, growth, and the balance of the Sustainable Development Goals. The fourth annual Caribbean Infrastructure Forum wrapped up today at the AC Marriott Hotel. The Little London Health Centre in Westmoreland has become the latest facility to be adopted under the Ministry of Health and Wellness's Adopt a Clinic initiative. The health centre has been adopted by the Caribbean Action Network Foundation initiative. Sandra Smith, a New York-based attorney and native of Westmoreland, is the founder.
I'm looking forward to working with the clinic and what the future holds. It's a 3-year commitment. Could be 4, could be 5. Let's see what happens. I'm also planning to encourage others like myself to adopt more clinics in Jamaica because we all want to give back, but now we have this initiative and we can in fact give back.
I want to really place on record my appreciation to Sandra for making this commitment through her association. And yes, it is a long word, the Caribbean Action Network Foundation Initiative, because I believe it really is an indication of her vision, her leadership, and her spirit of giving back.
19 of the 100 health centers under the ministry's Adopt a Clinic program have benefited from $460 million in support. And finally, the National Dengue Eradication Campaign is to receive about 40 new vehicles in the coming week. The vehicles will be outfitted with fogging equipment and distributed across the country to kill and eliminate the insects. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton made the announcement at yesterday's JIS think tank session.
The largest expenditure that would have been applied to renewing the entire logistics fleet for vector management team. Right now we engage private contractors to support and complement what we have. We have taken the decision that the entire fleet needs renewal.
This is in conjunction with the 3-day National Dengue Cleanup that is scheduled for this weekend. With an approach similar to that undertaken on Labor Day, communities and institutions are being mobilized to eradicate the Aedes aegypti population and mosquito breeding sites. At the end of 2019, the country recorded nearly 10,000 suspected cases of dengue. There were approximately 17,000 hospitalizations and about 80 deaths from the virus over the past 2 years. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.